This is episode 50 of the Marshall Street Podcast. You're listening to the Marshall Street Podcast, the home of music industry know-how that will give you the skills to take your career to the next level. Here are your hosts, Bennett Ferguson and Stu Watts. We're off and racing.
Welcome back.
We're back. It's been a long time between drinks.
It has.
And
lockdown.
So cheers to you.
Yeah, cheers. We've survived another Melbourne lockdown and we are back for episode 50 of the Marshall Street Podcast, Stewie.
Welcome back. How have you been?
Excellent. Always well.
Beautiful. And hope all of you viewers out there and listeners are doing well, getting back into the swing of things. And that's kind of what we're here to talk about today is getting your shit together.
That's exactly what we're here to talk about.
And so like as a musician and, performer and a recording artist or any of those sorts of things that are related to music, before you can actually do any sort of task, it's really important that you have your organisation up to date before even trying to book a gig.
To be productive.
To do anything really. To hit record on your session, you need to be organised.
I think even jumping back, not just as a musician, I think as a person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like as a human, and especially, there's people who listen to this who aren't in Melbourne. People in America would have no idea kind of what people in Melbourne have gone through in the last 18 months just with being locked down this much.
The most locked down city in the world.
Number one. And but I think so even just as a human, we need to fucking start getting our shit back together.
Yeah.
Like there's something, you need to have these schedules coming back just because we've literally been in 18 months of complete unknown, uncertainty. And I know for me, and someone who for, the last 8 years leading up has had a pretty good schedule about things, it goes out the window for 18 months and you literally don't, there hasn't been a reason to get up between 6 and 10 a.m. during, there's no difference.
Yeah.
So
I know that there's be people with me as all I was doing apart from looking after my new baby was playing Xbox and literally just sitting around the house watching movies and you just didn't do anything. You might go for a walk once or twice a day.
Yep.
Apart from that, there's nothing, and there's no reason to do it because there's no implications of not doing shit.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing that drained me early on was it was all well and good to come up and make plans with people. It's like, hey, even at the start we jumped on those calls with Coach and we we're like, let's just do some industry hangs and keep talking to people. But there comes a point when it's like this plan doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
What's the point sitting down and let's put this plan into action when it's just not you won't be able to execute on it.
Yeah.
The human mind just goes, well, this is a waste of time.
Yeah.
So I think now that we're back out and we've seen I've seen Untitled announce 4 or 5 tours in the last week.
And festivals.
Festivals are back. So now there is that feeling of, cool, all right, if we sit down and put the work in to plan something, there's a better chance that in 2 or 3 months we'll actually be able to go and do this event or we'll be able to do this session or we'll be able to go and play this show.
Yeah.
It feels like you'll be able to plan something and then get the reward of doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you have this feeling of oh, crap, I've missed the boat. I'm already seeing people start to play gigs. I'm already seeing, announcements of new albums, this and that. It's absolutely not too late. It's actually, you're going to be ahead of the game if you start right now and get your plans into place. Because what we see a lot of, and, I've obviously got experience with is in the past is you go to do the action, whether that's writing a song or, recording a song or going to book a gig or something like that. And you're so far ahead of yourself and thinking of the end result that you don't have all your ducks in a row. And it actually is counterproductive because then you're chasing your tail. You're going, oh, shit, I haven't done this. I haven't done that. I haven't prepared this. I haven't talked to that person. I haven't done this. Whereas if you took, half a month or a month in advance to really get prepared for that thing that you were planning to do, you're going to be much better off. You're going to find that things go a lot smoother. You're just going to be more productive and everyone around you is going to notice as well, which is always a benefit when people see that you have your shit together more than other people.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing.
100%. It allows your mind to work in a calmer place because your mind knows that you've done the work leading up to it, so it doesn't worry about that. And I mean, there is people who don't stress about stuff, but there is a lot more people and artists and creatives who, I mean, the amount of artists in the last two years that I've heard tell me about their anxiety and depression was like, when you really dig into this, a lot of the anxiety that artists feel around tasks is them being ill prepared for things. Like a lot of the times when I was like, oh, this just makes me really anxious. In my head, I'm like, you're like, well, if we plan this, and this has come to whether it's a video shoot or whether it's recording, like, but it just makes me anxious thinking about that. It's like, oh, well, then let's just plan it. Then, like, I think the term anxious gets thrown around far too often for just thinking about something. And your mind's naturally going to think about something if you haven't prepared. It's like when I was playing a set, when I was DJing, I would have to be mentally prepared for that set. If someone came up to us and gave us a gig for tomorrow night, all of a sudden my brain's gonna go, okay, fuck, I've got to run through my checklist. I've got to make sure that I'm good. That's not anxiety. That's not me with anxiety. That's me trying to be prepared in the best possible way.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of artists, there's, you know, and this is a whole topic for something else. But this notion of anxious and anxiety that artists feel around tasks, most of the time, it's just their brain wanting them to be prepared for a task. So you just put in those, you know, the hours of whether it's sitting down with a spreadsheet or a Word document and just typing it all out, get it out of your head. Like, what do I really need for this show? All right, I'm going to need a sound person. I'm going to need a poster. I'm going to need a door person. All of a sudden, once you start seeing that stuff in front of you, your mind lets go of it because it goes, I don't need to hold on to all of this. I've put it down.
Yeah, exactly.
And then suddenly the whole process becomes a lot easier.
And I think a lot of people, because of those initial feelings of uneasiness and, you know, tight chest and that sort of stuff, they put it in the too hard basket, or they go, I'm not going to even let my mind address it. And I know that this is, again, for another podcast, but it is important. And, you know, they say, oh, I'm not going to address it. I'm not going to even try and think about it because it's too hard. It concerns me. It makes me feel uneasy. Whereas if you did take the time to just step over that little hurdle, for some, the hurdle's bigger than others. I completely understand that, but it is a hurdle nonetheless. And if you just take that first step and do something like you said, writing things out or talking to someone or anything like that, you'll probably find that the next few steps are going to be much easier and you will get closer to eventually being able to perform that task way more efficiently. And so I think let's get a little bit more specific about some of the things that you need to have in place to be more efficient.
When you want to start getting your shit together after this lockdown, start learning how to be. I mean, I've said it before, like, it's the ability to leave the house and go out and be productive for 12, 14 hours a day is a muscle. It is a skill. We haven't done that for a long time in Melbourne regularly. So you've got to learn how to use that muscle again. You can't just because the human mind goes, oh, I used to do it, let's go and do it. You can't. It doesn't work that way.
No, you're right.
So it's just having that mental approach of going, cool, this first 6 weeks, 2 months, even from when we got out of lockdown till the end of the year, in your head go, that's my apprenticeship to learn how to human again, learn how to be productive. You know?
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden, your mind, you go, oh man, sweet, I don't have to be productive for 14 hours today. Okay, cool, I'm going to build to it. And that's a lot easier for the mind to cope with.
And it's also funny that this coincides with this time of the year because December's notoriously busy for people. Obviously, there's a lot of holidays. You know, we've got to buy gifts for people. We've got to do whatever you do in December. It's always notoriously busy. But it's also leading up to, you know, summer and festival season and lots of stuff happening in those first few months of the year. And so this is right, this time of the year where you can't necessarily get too much done in these months, it's a really good time to get your shit in place and in order and just to get ready for the next year.
Definitely. I'd flip it around. I'd say you're right. It's not a great time to get external things done just because comes to middle of December and most corporate shuts down. They're in Christmas parties all December. People are getting lit up till middle of Jan. So it's like you're not going to get too much. If you want to call for a meeting for someone now, trust me, have it in January 10th. Otherwise, you're going to have a shitty 2-hour meeting now and you have to come back in December and
do
pick
the
it all up
whole
again.
thing again.
So just don't even. And we had these internally in our meetings. We were like, we're not even going to address this till January because otherwise we're going to have to come back to it. So externally, it's a hard time to get things done, but internally, it's probably the best period because if you can set up your December internally and then your January internally, by the time Feb comes, because Feb will come quick, just as we've seen, when Feb comes, all of a sudden you're like, all right, I know what I'm doing this year.
Yep.
Because then by the time Feb goes and March goes, that's Q1 finished of the year. So it's like you want to use December and the start of January to set yourself up internally for the whole next year.
Yep.
And then you can turn that external and start booking your external meetings and trying to execute whatever you need to do in Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 to make that plan work.
So let's get specific. Let's talk about some specific things that you should do right now and over the next couple of months to get your affairs in order and get ready for next year. Number one for me is calendars. That's such a big part of being organized. If you can eventually learn, and as we've seen, it takes practice to get good at using your calendar effectively, especially if you're in a band or especially if you're working with other people. Say you're a videographer. You might need a lighting operator. You might need a sound operator. You might need all these different people to work with to get your video clip ready. And so these sorts of things where you have a number of people, whether you're the person in charge or not, your calendar allows you to know when things are happening. It sounds so obvious, like me talking about it. It sounds so obvious, but it is, and it allows you to really take control of your time. When you have things mapped out, when you have it scheduled. We can go into more detail about color coding, all that sort of stuff. But I mean, what are some of the stuff that we do here at Marshall Street for calendars?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've all got our own individual calendars because obviously there's multiple rooms in this facility that have multiple things going on at once. So it's like if you've got a recording in here and we have a rehearsal out there, if I've got a meeting, if Clark's got to shoot a video, like all of us have our own calendars that all sync up into one so we can all see what each other's doing. And, you know, that's probably the next step. That's probably the next step for people because I think initially, as you were saying, it's like calendar, like scheduling your time is something we've all, I guess, been exposed to since high school.
Yep.
When you get like, here's period 1, period 2.
But it's done for you. That's the difference.
But it's also only you. It's only your one. And so I think the difference is when you go into being a creative, and that's usually in the early phases, pretty much a sole trader.
Yeah.
You're pretty much running a business on your own. You've now got to be aware of other people's times. You can't just run on your own time for most things.
Yeah.
There definitely will be some tasks when you can, and that's fine. But for most things, you have to have the ability to be aware of other people's time. And that's where electronic calendars, like if it was just you can run it in your own book diary, just a page calendar, you know, that you write it in and all you need to know is that. That's fine for an individual. But when you're liaising with others, you've got to have a way to see what they're doing, be able to let them know. And like even Zoom and Google Meetups now, where you just email the invite and talks to the calendar. Perfect. So these electronic calendars are, I think, the next step. And definitely if people haven't really used them yet or haven't got into them, just jump into G Calendar, set yourself up, give yourself different colors for different tasks you want to do. Be like recording, songwriting, graphic design, whatever you want to learn or whatever you think you need to be spending time doing. Just give a different color and then select that in the calendar and then go and do that.
And the beauty with these sorts of calendars is you can invite people that
100%.
Also have a Gmail account or, you know, whatever, that you can invite them to your calendar event. And that puts it in their calendar. And that means that you can then match that up. You can set reminders for beforehand, whether that's a day before, 2 hours before, half an hour before, whatever you need to remind yourself that this event is happening with someone else. It's important that you set those sorts of things up. And you were talking about personal diaries, and we do that here. Like I've got my reminders list on my phone. That's my personal diary. Clacker has a physical diary that he writes out all of his tasks to do. We've all got these individual diaries that we need to keep track of our own time, but the electronic calendar marries us all up. And it means that we can be aware of each other's time so that if we want to book something and say Matt wants to book in a interview in one of the recording rooms, he can look at the calendar and go, Stu's got recording on this day. I probably can't do it on the day.
This isn't going to work.
If I need to do it that day, I'll have to have a chat to him and say, hey, look, I know you've got a recording. Is there any time during that day where I can borrow that studio for an hour? And it just makes things easier.
Or you just go, look, it's not going to happen that day.
Correct.
It's like if you were recording in here right now, could we do this podcast here? It's
It's
physically
impossible.
not going to happen.
I can't be two people.
Yeah, so have the calendar sit, and there is foresight, and guess what, everyone? The first time you go to book multiple venues and liaise with people, you'll probably fuck it up. That's fine. You might have someone be like, "Hey, dude, I got here an hour early," or "Man, you didn't tell me I was meant to be." Cool, that'll happen.
It's important for those things to happen.
Keep moving forward from it. Then go, how do I alleviate this next time? Be like,
Correct.
oh man, let me prepare a run sheet.
Yep.
Give that out. How do you keep improving it? Because nothing is set and forget. You're not going to nail it the first fucking time. That's not the point of any of this. The point is to do something, be able to reflect back and go, how can we keep improving it?
But I think anyone that has experience in organising event management knows that things are going to fuck up every single time you organise something because it's humans.
They are, but there's still a lot of people who don't understand that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
aren't
artists.
prepared for that. That's the thing. It's like this whole podcast is about being prepared. If you're prepared for things to go wrong, if you've got a plan B and a C, you know, you can go, oh, plan A didn't work. Okay, what's next?
Yep.
How do I patch this up and,
Yep.
and keep moving?
Yep.
And so, calendars. That's the first thing. It's super important.
Yep.
Next, I think another important thing that marries into this is your organization of your online drives. And so Google Drive, Dropbox, there's heaps of them out there.
Yep.
You know, even things like Monday and these sorts of organizational Trello, all of these organizational tools that are online that involve a bunch of different people, having these set out and organized. And again, it's going to take time for you to get good at it and get efficient at it. But these tools that exist, they're crucial to making sure your project runs successfully, whatever it is.
And again, I'll come back on that. Like the point of these drives and programs and software is to make things easier. Sometimes, and I've done it before where we've tried to incorporate things like Monday, is sometimes, especially analytical kind of minded people, as opposed to like full creative people, which is more the side that I sit on, will sometimes try to bring a system in unnecessarily.
Yeah.
So the point of this is to remember what it's being used for.
Yes.
Like the point of the G Drive is to have all your stuff collated in an easy to find spot, whether that's all your lyrics, or your production, or your graphic design, or your artwork, whatever it is, so that when you're working with someone externally, you just go, here's a link. When you work with a publicist, you just go, here's a link to all my stuff. This is all you need. Even the new band that just moved in here now, when people become a resident, we want their band logo so we can put their vinyl up on the door. We want a band shot so we can put it up in reception, all that sort of stuff. Told that band earlier, and they're like, yeah, sweet, we've already got that all in a G Drive folder. I'll just share that with you. Perfect. How much easier is that than me? And then the band's like, oh,
I've got to search back for an email from 2 years ago.
And you just keep your shit in order because it means when you go and talk to someone like me or like you and we ask for that, it's just there.
Yep.
It's seamless. You don't have, and then all of a sudden this anxiety, this anxious feeling, it's like, oh man, this person asked me for, it's like, dude, just have the folder, click share and we'll get it. End of story.
Easy.
Anxiety's gone.
Yep.
So it's like just the reason you have it is for a purpose. Don't feel like you need to bring in a system if everything's working. If you never have a problem giving someone else your files or access to your lyrics, however that's
If
organized.
it's not broke, don't fix it.
Correct. If there's no problem, you don't need to bring in something else.
Yep.
But if you find yourself wasting time or mentally getting frustrated or constantly going back and doing the same thing over and over, bring in a system.
Yeah, absolutely. And you hear it a lot from things like social media. I'm totally on this train where sometimes if I'm not, if I'm running behind and don't have my socials in order or like a post prepared or something like that, it's like it feels like there's so much work to do. You're like, oh man, I just can't keep up with social media. It's like, it's because you're not prepared. If you spent 4 hours one day, say for example, not even 2 hours one day, to get all of next week's posts ready and organized, then you're saving yourself that feeling of I can't keep up with my socials. And it's just like that extra bit of time previously to set up, to organize all of this stuff, to know what your benchmarks are.
I'm going to pull back on that because this was, I think, something that'll tie into that, which is people need to know what you should focus your time on. So like if that's a business, I know that, clients, social media, outreach is basically everything that I do. Everything that I do should fall under one of them. And if it doesn't, why am I doing it?
Yeah.
And then so this comes back to social media. I think a lot of people are now in the trap of, oh man, I have to do social media because this dude told me to. I've been watching all these online videos. I've watched Gary Vee. I've got to put out content every day.
Yeah.
So people are now doing it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
When you have to go, what is the purpose of you putting out content? Really, at the heart of it, why do you have these social media accounts? As a business, we do it to get clients. That is the purpose. We don't do it so that we can post every day and tell someone we post we do it to get clients.
Yep.
So you have to, cool. And once you know that, the content becomes a lot easier because you know why you're doing it. It's not like, oh man, I need to go and create all this and I'm not sure why I'm doing this. I'm doing it because I sat down with this social media consultant
They said that
and he told me that I need to post every day.
Yep.
There's
Do 10 stories a day,
Yeah.
some random arbitrary number
Yeah.
that doesn't have any meaning behind it.
And how are you going to measure it? So it's like learn why you're doing these things. And if you don't have the understanding that, hey, these platforms and channels give you access to people and eyes that 15 years ago was only available to people on TV or radio or movies or through networks. And now you have a shot at putting your music in front of people. Like if you don't understand that, then you don't understand why you're posting.
Yep.
And then that's when I see people go through these, oh man, how can I post that much? Like post every day, you joke. It's like, dude, it should take you 4 minutes to do a post.
Yeah.
If that, like everyone's got a camera on their phone, literally
100%.
it should take you no more than 4 to 5 minutes.
Yep. And again, it like you said, it feeds back into the organization of things. If you have things like a Google Drive organized, whereas every time you're together as a band, get a new band shot. You can use that as a social media post.
And they don't have to be perfect, guys.
No.
Like you're not looking.
An iPhone camera's fucking awesome.
It's perfect. But here's the other thing. If you post perfectly clean press shots every day, guess what? That becomes a norm.
Yeah.
It's just, it becomes like human nature, things become normal. We become normalized. So don't create content. Just document what the fuck you're doing. You're doing this thing anyway.
Yeah, we've been saying this for years.
Yeah, like artists try to think that they need to create content on top of what they're doing.
Yeah.
You're doing the journey anyway.
Yeah.
Like I tell artists when they come in here and I tell them this, I'm like, dude, here's a bit of content. You pull out your phone, you do a story like, hey, I just went down to Marshall Street, just had a chat to these guys, it was sick. Boom, that's your content.
That's it.
You don't need to, that's it.
That's it. People know where you've been, what you've been doing.
Cool, and you're you're leaving that trail to leave a narrative out there.
Yep.
But that, it comes back to a complete, you have to have a complete understanding about what you're doing on these platforms and why you're there.
Yep.
And again, and then so bring it back to where are you spending your time? You know, if you're a business owner in the creative industries and you're listening to this, then it's like you need to know clients, you know, outreach, and socials go into outreach. So it's like where in these buckets are you spending your time and what's important?
And this is a thing for managers of bands. This is a thing for band leaders, if you have one. It's so parallel because you are doing, essentially, if you're serious about your band, you should be looking at hypothetically as a business. And therefore
100%.
But that's what I'm saying. And that's why this parallel exists, is these same things. You need to outreach to play gigs with bands.
Yeah.
You need to know booking agents.
Yep.
You need to have all
Clients,
of these.
guess what, are your fans.
Yep.
Like if you don't think of your band as a business, you will never get a deal because major labels look at artists as a business.
Yep. Yep, and it's okay not to, but you need to know.
But understand, where the
your
floor
understanding
is.
is.
100%. And there's fine. There's bands out there who know that they're not after deal. They know the system and they know that they're doing it for fun and not.
Yep.
That's fine. Guess what? Don't post.
Yep.
You don't need to do these things.
Correct, yeah.
But if artists have the audacity to go, I mean, I want to live off this. I want to make this a career and I want to sign to a major. It's like, guess what majors do? They look at numbers. They look at, if I give you 250K, when am I going to recoup on this and when are we going to start making money?
Yep.
And if you can't answer these things internally, and if that question really scares you as an artist, someone going, hey, I'll give you 250K, but I need to know when that money's coming back. If that scares you, you're not ready to play in the fucking with the big boys.
And again, that's another full podcast discussion.
100%.
Is there anything else that you can think of? We talked about calendars. Talk about organising your Google Drives. Do you have any other points on those two areas that we might not have talked about yet?
Yep. This is something that I was speaking with Junior with over the weekend, and I thought it was super helpful, so I'm going to throw it in here. All of these things aren't always going to be fun or easy. They're usually not. So it is okay for these things to be difficult at the start, to be uncomfortable at the start. One, because you may have never done it before, but also let's just take a look at the term happiness here. Music might be what makes you happy. Music might be what we chase. Guess what? The organizing of the leading up to the music isn't supposed to be happy. It isn't supposed to give you that great feeling.
Yep.
In fact, it can't, because the point of
not the same
happiness, there has to be a point when you're not feeling happy
Correct.
for that happiness to be there.
Correct.
So keeping that mindset of, hey, not everything you do in this career or this journey you're in is going to make you happy. You should be at peace with it. You should be comfortable and at peace with yourself doing this task because of the bigger picture you have, and that will give you moments and events and times in your life that are fucking truly happy. So I think knowing going into this, hey, not everything in life is sunshines and fucking rainbows. It doesn't matter what job you have. You can talk to Jack the Bear, who's been in this industry for 50 years. You can talk to me. Everyone who, the artist would be like, hey, you guys have made it and you guys are living the dream. We'll all tell you there's times when we're like, yeah, dude, it's a job. You've got to get it done. Like, you have to get it done. The biggest videographers will tell you that. The biggest bands will tell you that.
Yep.
So it's not always meant to be happy, but you're meant to be at peace with it and know what you're doing to give you these times in your life which are truly happy and satisfying.
And I think it's a really good point and about that, being at peace with the uncomfortable times. If you're not, find out why. And really try to unpack it. And it's kind of like what we were saying at the start. If this makes you uncomfortable, if you're getting that tight feeling in your chest, address it.
Yep.
You're never going to be okay with it until you address it. But if you address it and say, well, I'm uncomfortable with all of the time that I have to spend on X. It's like, okay, well, why is that taking as long as it is? Break that down even further. And it might be because you don't have your calendar set up, or it might be because you don't have your Google Drive organized. Might be little things like this that we've already talked about. Might be other stuff, might be conversations with people, might be that you don't have enough money. Any of these sorts of things that make you uncomfortable. It might not be that specific task, but things surrounding that task that are making you feel uncomfortable. But address it, write it out, figure out what it is about it that makes you uncomfortable, and try and find a way to make yourself better at it. Might be outsourcing. If you go, I can't be bothered cutting together a video clip by myself, but I've got $100. Go on Fiverr, pay someone $100 to cut together a video clip.
Go to the local TAFE, Melbourne Polytechnic, knock on the door of people who are studying to become videographers. Go, hey guys, who wants $100?
Yep.
Guarantee you'll have 5 people right then and there leave their seat.
It might not be the outcome that you expect, but it's going to be a video clip that you didn't want to do yourself.
And it's correct. There's no point crying when you weren't prepared to do a better job and you're not happy with the jobs. Then get the hell out of here, man.
But you've alleviated that discomfort that came with spending that time creating that video. And there's fucking hundreds of these things that might make you uncomfortable about being a musician and being a career musician. But it's important.
100%. You got to shine the light on them.
You have to do it.
Here's a good saying for you. Whatever you resist will persist. Whatever you resist in life, whatever you don't fully, take ownership over, will always be there.
Absolutely.
And it will always be this little
and it'll
spot.
get worse.
Yeah, 100%.
It'll snowball.
Yeah, so get it out, alleviate it at the start. And one thing I'm going to bring on that, which ties back to knowing what you're doing, like what's the purpose of it. One thing that is an easy trap for artists to go down is spending time learning shit they shouldn't. And what I mean by that specifically, this is a specific example, but then artists will be able to take this and apply this in their own life, is artists going and learning how to shoot music videos to supplement their music. Great in theory. Perfect. I did it. Most artists do it. I can't afford $1,500 for a clip. I've got a fucking video camera. Let me go and shoot it. The first one you do, usually pretty rubbish. So then you come back like, let me learn how to, and you keep going. But there comes a point when you have to look at the time spent in versus the ROI. Are you actually looking to be a videographer? And is this something that took your fancy and you're like, hey, I actually really enjoy this, so I'm going to keep upskilling myself at something that I like?
That's called a pivot.
Because that's fine. But if you're constantly upskilling yourself in different areas to support your primary art, which is being an artist or a singer or a musician, and then you find 2, 3, 4, 5 years later, as I've watched some people some people that I came up with, still battling for this and still making average video, when it's like, hey dude, the 4 years that you've spent trying to become competent in this creative field, guess what? You probably should have just gone and picked up a couple hours working at a bar each week for 4 years and then paid a videographer who's done this for 10 years and loves it because your clip will be good. It'd be like, imagine if I was like, man, I could never mix my stuff. So instead of me going to someone who knows mixing and frequencies so much better than I do, imagine I was like, you know what? I'll just lock myself in the room for the next 5, 6, 7 years till I get good at it. Do you know how bad that would be for your brain? Not only that, but your primary focus is going to suffer.
Think about this as a business. If you're a business owner and you did a similar sort of thing,
it'd be insane.
Your business is done, man.
It'd be insane.
It's gone.
Yeah. It'd be like, hey, man, I'm going to open a kebab shop. You know what I'm going to do from here?
Learn how to cut onions.
Yeah. I'm going to go learn how to raise lambs. It's like it's
bizarre,
but it's a path that goes down, and it comes back to not knowing where you should put your time. Like if you need a board in the middle of your room that you wake up and you look at to, and it says music, first, and then it's everything secondary. You go, cool, that is my focus. Why am I spending 4 hours on a video clip? It's for the art. Has this gone too far? Have I found the line where the ROI is not there for the time put in?
Do you know the other thing with that as well is not only saying, hey, I should, just do a shift somewhere and pay someone to do it, is time spent networking. And again, we've talked about this so many times, but that time that you've spent in your room trying to figure out how to mix or make a music video or something, if you spent that time once a week going out, meeting up with other musicians, sound engineers, whoever it might be, that you can eventually outsource your stuff to, that might eventually give you mates rates because you're best mates now.
Yeah.
That time spent doing that sort of thing, networking, that's where it's at.
Oh, 100%.
And that is where you start to see growth because your time way more effectively spent.
I can say every artist who comes through here, the one thing they all say that they struggle with and they wish they could do more is meet other people, is network. And then my first thing is like, well, pull out Instagram and do it. Like
and you're here.
Yeah.
You're here. You're in Marshall Street Studios. Like
just go and find someone and speak to
people
them.
in another room.
Yeah. Like Instagram, literally pull out Instagram, look people up and DM them.
Yep.
Be okay to DM 20 people, 18 don't reply, one tells you to get fucked, and then one's like, yeah, man, cool, let's catch up for a coffee.
Yep.
Sweet.
Yep.
All that, just keep doing these things. It's the simple little things that I think alleviate the bigger problems, but just seem to fucking knock it done.
Love it. We've had some, we've gone into 6 or 7 different topics, but this is stuff that we love talking about. This is stuff that we have conversations with people every day. And if you have, if any of this has kind of spoken to you and you want to chat to us, you want to know more about it, if you want to hear about our experiences, we'll gladly talk your ear off about the shit that we've gone through. And, that's what we're here for. But to summarize, getting your shit together, this is the time to do it. Towards the end of the year, you've got a few months before you can, effectively do some good shit.
Got about 30 days till the end of the year?
Yep, something like
Roughly that.
Yep.
So learn how to liaise your time with others on an electronic calendar. If you've never done anything this before, get a diary and start out journaling your own time. Whenever you're doing a task on your own, just write down, I started at this time and I ended at this time. And be really honest with yourself.
Give yourself a score. How effective was it?
Did you spend it all on Facebook? Like, write down your own time, start with that, then branch off into other people's time. Then start a G calendar where you can look at other people's calendars because you won't be able to liaise other people's times if you don't know what you're doing. So start off internally with yourself and then learn how to balance the team.
Yep.
Learn where you're spending your time. Where should you be spending your time? If you're a business owner, if you're a photographer, if you're a band, what is the most important things and what is all the secondary supplementary things that you're doing to support this? And then you can keep a track if you're spending too much time on the things that aren't getting you there.
Yep.
The example as a business owner, social media is there to get clients. It's not there for a photo gallery of what you do, despite what many people think and use it for. The point of it is to get clients. So use it that way.
Yep.
And what else did we touch on?
Yeah, that's most of it. Organising your online drives, having all of your stuff together and ready to go. So in case you have these moments where someone's like, hey, I'd love to see your logo or something like that, or I'd love to hear a new demo. You can just go share that folder, or link them with a file, and they've got it. Having that organisation, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to panic. You don't have to go, I've got to look back 2 years of emails to try and find it from this guy who I forget his name.
And I'm not sure which email drive it's in because I've got 5 emails.
Yep. So all of that sort of stuff. Super important. Do it now. Don't wait. If it's overwhelming,
Good, jump into it.
Yeah, jump into it, but
Start
write it all
bit by
out
bit.
and unpack.
The best thing you can be is nervous, and this to give you that feeling of, oh shit, I haven't been addressing this in a long time. Good. Jump in and start unpacking it, because it'll only get worse if you don't. And hey, guess what? It's going to be pretty easy when you get there.
Yep.
Do one thing a day, bit by bit, you'll get there.
Yep. All right.
Nice.
Love it. Thank you. Follow us on all the social medias. You can inbox us, DM us.
Yep.
You can listen to this podcast. You've already found it on Spotify or YouTube.
Yep.
If you like it and your friends might like it, share it around.
Yep.
That's how we can get this word out and get it to as
like
many
and
people
subscribe to this channel wherever you're listening to it. And if there's anything you'd specifically like us to talk about, hit us in the DMs. Otherwise, we will catch you next week.
Bye.
Peace.